Welcome back to Starter Pack. All right, today we're diving into something insanely cool. We're running AI on your DIY server using C#.net. Yep, you heard that right. AI on your own machine with some free code samples. So whether you're a seasoned developer or just starting out, this is going to be really interesting and really helpful. We love to give you free code samples because here at Starter Pack, we love to train software developers. So let's dive in and we're going to get you started on building some cool AI tools. Welcome back to Starter Pack. I'm Spencer Thompson. Here at Starter Pack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and to build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years of software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, so most times you hear people start talking about running AI and building AI tools, they're just basically building some wrapper around OpenAI and just calling their APIs. This is going to be different because we're going to actually show you how to run AI locally on your own do-it-yourself server or DIY server, something that I've built for less than $500, and then show you how to run it using C#.net. Well, why? Because this is super powerful if you're a small business owner, if you're a starting developer and you just want to tinker, or you just want to build an application for an in-house application, right? Which is a lot of what .NET developers are. Most of my .NET development career has been spent building applications for internal consumption to help automate as well as to improve job functions, right? So one of the great things about Ollama is you can run all the latest models entirely for free, and it's a great way to get started if you're just starting out using some AI. Okay, so if you go to Ollama.com, you'll see that right on the home page there's a download button. Download button takes you to here, which will give you for Mac, Windows, or Linux. On Linux is literally as easy as just one command line, right? It knows I'm on Windows, so it's not really, it auto detect that I was on Windows and gave me the download for Windows. But for Linux, it's literally just as easy as a one-line script. Copy this, run it, and boom, you have Ollama on your machine. Very, very, very simple and very proven. Super safe. Then you go to models and you pick out which model you want. For instance, here's a DeepSeek R1. Here's a Llama 3.2. Here's a Phi 3. Now, if you go check out some of my previous videos, you definitely want to do this because my previous videos are going to talk about why you would run and what size of models you can run. I'm not going to go into that as part of this, so I'm going to assume that you've watched some of those other videos to know which... and I'm going to put together a playlist that'll have all of the DIY server type videos that I've made. So now this is, for Phi 3, Mistral, etc. Now, as you fly through these, and this really isn't the point of this video today, you can see that I've already downloaded all of these. So I can say Ollama list, and it'll show the models that I have downloaded. So I have Mistral, which is their 7 billion input model, DeepSeek R1, Phi 3, Llama 3.2, so some of these different ones in different sizes. So this machine has a 4 gigabyte graphics card on it. This is going to be a very simple one. I bought this machine off of Facebook Marketplace for $300, right? You can pretty commonly find something with 4 gig, 6 gig, even 8 gig for less than $500 to $700, right? This is very, very, very common. Or you can take an old machine and put in a 12 gig. And so I just grabbed on my other machine, I grabbed one that we demonstrated before that I put in a 12 gigabyte model a 12 gig VRAM card that I got for $250 on top of just an existing machine that I have out there. Don't need a lot of powerful hardware. This is definitely sub 1,000, but realistically, even in $500, you can get a great machine running. All right, now if you go to the link that I have down below, you'll pull down this code sample, right? Now you'll notice as you look at the path of this code sample, this is code sample 242. We have another repository with a link at the bottom that has another 200 and some. So this is almost 500 free code samples that we provide to you free because here at Starter Pack, we love to train software developers. Now, pull down this code because this is what we're going to use. Now, I didn't do any other changes to this. I pulled it down and went right into this. And so this is a great example where you could take this code, drop it in, and build a small agent. So let's say you wanted to build something that was going to modify your inputs for every single email you were going to send, right? You could actually build this so that it will modify each of those before your code sends out the email. This is great for an easy marketing tool and something that these small models can absolutely handle. But let's dive in. We're just going to show you this example here. So I'm just going to go ahead and let's run through this code really quick. So this is using the Microsoft AI extension AI. This is a wrapper for Ollama. So specific to Ollama. Now, if you don't even want to leave, you saw I was in the command console before. If you don't even want to leave the developer console before, you can see that I'm in the command prompt here. So I can actually still even keep this and pin it right into in here. So we're gonna say the same thing here and say our Ollama list. And we can see that we're running right in here. So let's run our Ollama DeepSeek right here. Ollama run DeepSeek. I'm just going to copy and paste this because I'm lazy. That's not what I wanted. So we're going to run Ollama DeepSeek dash R1 1.5 billion. Okay, so you can see it's thinking there. It's going to get itself started. And you definitely want to get this up and running before you start this, because otherwise your program has to run this to get it started. So good to get your Ollama running. There's tons of ways you can see out there to get Ollama running in the background while you're, so that it's running and ready. So now you can see that it's ready here, ready for us to go. So we can even do a little test prompt if you want. Why is the sky blue? And you can see it comes back pretty quick. So that's pretty snappy, right? So Ollama's running really quickly on this machine. Again, this is not a beefy machine. This machine is a very simple machine. You can see from Task Manager here, it's one of these 6-core with hyperthreading. It's, an older model, I think 4, 5, 6 generations old now as of 2025. In here, and you can see that the GPU is just, actually this is a 3 gig GPU. It doesn't even see the full 4 gigs. So if it can run this model pretty quickly this way, and if we're in doubt, we can actually check and see, how Ollama is running, and I'll show you that here in a second. But so let's go ahead and use this now that we know that the model's running in the background. We're gonna kick this off and just I'm just going to run this straight through the first time, and then we can kind of break down exactly what it's doing in here, because we'll run through this code. But you can see it's less than 25 lines of code, which is pretty awesome. So tell me a story about a software developer. Now, it's gonna do its thinking. Oh, in this case, it looks like we have a break here. Let's dive in and figure out what's going on with our code. See, now this is great, actually. So I love actually debugging these real time, because I like to show you that even though I have myself all prepared before the meetings, everything always goes wrong, right? So in this case, what I did was I was trying this on a different machine, and I had Phi3 Mini downloaded, right? So on this machine here, it's pretty easy to go take a look here. Let's go look at our console here, and we'll find out exactly which Ollama models. So if you look here, you can see, oops, let's not do that one. So we're going to, let me pull over this one here. So if we look here, we can see that we have Phi3 latest, we don't have Phi3 Mini. And so the Phi3 and Phi3 Mini are two different models, actually. So this part of our code here, and I guess we are going to go through our code here before we run this. So this builds the iChat client with the Ollama chat client, right? So this builds this object, points it at this in case you've changed in Ollama where this default wrapper is for Ollama, and then says which model you want to run against, right? So that's the problem here, is in this case we don't have even the Phi3 Mini running. Gets the prompt, pretty straightforward stuff, and then grabs the chat history, does this all async while it waits, and then writes that response out. So you can see how simple it would be to build a background agent that can run against these. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and change this to that DeepSeek, model that we have here. So let's go ahead and grab this guy here, DeepSeek R1. So I'm going to go ahead and change that out. All right, so now we're going to run against the right model, and you're going to see this is going to work like a charm. So tell me a story about a software developer. So you can see that was pretty quick, right? And I'm not speeding this up. You guys know that I'm doing this real time, so I'll even show you when I get my bugs or my errors, because this is the real thing. Now you could take this, for instance, our example about writing a small agent that would modify a body and subject line of an email before you sent them out. So you're building an AI marketing machine. Hundreds of other use cases here, right? You can even have it generate images. You can have it do all kinds of stuff. But you can see that this streams back really fast. You can also get into where you get into structured outputs to make sure that you are running in different case. So then it came back to the prompt. So we can so we can do some debugging here to kind of look at some of this, but I think this code is pretty straightforward. So let's say that I wanted to try a little bit bigger of model, right? Let's say that we wanted to, so again, this machine only has 3 gigs of RAM, right? So or 3 gigs of VRAM. So any of these ones here you could do, but it's going to take it just a minute, but it still actually can work. So let's go with Mistral here because it's a 4 gig. So you can see that we're definitely over the size of what we would need. So let's try this and see what happens, because I'm going to show you here. So let's fire this guy up. All right, so here's our prompt here. And hello. Let's just see what the AI response is. Now this is definitely going to come back much slower because it's got to run this in, it's first of all, it's starting up the model for the very first time. So this is going to take just a second. So that took it about 15 to 20 seconds before it even started to respond. But you can definitely see it's responding much slower, and my machine's actually spinning up under my desk here because it's definitely you're pushing the machine a little bit more. So we can go look in another tab here and say, let's see here. We want to get a command prompt. So let's say Ollama PS. You can see here that we're running on 66% CPU and only 34% GPU, right? So this is, we're definitely pushing this. And so you can see, but you can still see that it came back relatively good. So let's see here. Give me a C# class about with a model for a company. So let's see, so that came back pretty quick, right? Like it's already starting to give us some of this. And so you can see that it's pushing here, and we can definitely see on our, that we're, tapping the dedicated GPU memory, right? It is using all of that. And you can see that it's even having to use the CPU as well. So, but it's working. Like that's kind of the biggest thing, is even though that may be slow, but in an agent, you may not care, right? You may not care how fast something processes as long as it can process and finish processing. Now, I'm not super interested in this because I want to run a model that's going to run really well inside of the GPU. So we're going to push right to the latest and go to Phi 3 latest, right? And let's try that guy here and see what kind of response 3 latest, because this is going to push us right to the edge of the graphics card that I have here. So understanding your graphics card and the hardware that you're running against, see, this would have worked, and so this would be fine. But we're definitely, so if we run with this one here, let's kick off this guy here. Why is the sky blue? So and it's switching the models right now. So, but you can see now this one, let's wait for it. There it goes, it spun up. So even here, you can see that because the size is 3.6 gigs to actually load that into memory, it's still, mixing between CPU and GPU, but it's still coming back pretty quickly. So, in this case, we're actually trying to take the prompt here, right? But we could just as easily say, hey, that our prompt, instead of, this read line here. So I'm going to comment out this line and say, give me the body of a marketing email, right? And obviously this is a terribly formatted prompt. Definitely want to be doing some research on, how to do good prompts, right? So this is only semi-useful, but watch, you can see this now. So pretend that we're going to do this and then let it write out the body of our email, and then pretend we would take that response from here, right? This chat history.add, and instead of, writing out to the console here, we could actually put it in and put it out to an email, right? So let's try this instead, and you can see that it gives, immediately, it's going to pretty near immediately give us that, hey, special offer just for you. See how you can see how functional this could become, and you can tell it to come into formatted options. So I'm going to give you a video about structured output later so that you can work with what those look like. In this case, we were just wanting to give you an example of some of the things that you could start to do locally with AI on your model, keeping your data in-house. And we really feel like this can be really powerful for a lot of small businesses, because this is a great way that you can work to build AI into your applications and to be able to work on something that can be loaded all entirely within your machine without spending thousands of dollars, without racking up a massive API bill, and yet something that you can start to develop for applications to be used inside of your business. This is where AI to me is going to become really powerful, when we can start to harness this for real world applications as developers in inexpensive ways. These small models are super powerful. You can do a lot of training, and I'm going to show you a lot of this as we move forward, because this DIY AI is going to be one of the big things that I really want to prove out that we can start to do with some of these great models. You have to have the big models in order to get the small models, but this is really huge, and I think something that'll be really powerful moving forward. So what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to have a great discussion. Here at Startup Pack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps, as well as build custom software solutions for companies. So reach out, because we'd love to help. And hit me up at startuphack.com/Spencer if you're looking for great ways that you can implement DIY AI in your organization. And otherwise, we will catch you guys next time.
Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring is included, so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Startup Hack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely, and students can start earning while they learn.
Startup Hack's .NET Coding Bootcamp was a game changer for my career. As someone with no prior programming experience, I was initially intimidated by the idea of learning to code, but the instructors at Startup Hack broke down complex concepts into easy to understand lessons and provided hands-on projects that really cemented my understanding. The curriculum was comprehensive and up to date and got me ready for my first job. What really set Startup Hack apart was the focus on practical, real-world skills. Thanks to Startup Hack, I landed my dream job as a .NET developer within weeks of graduating. I went from knowing nothing about code to building professional-grade web applications in just a few intense months. If you're looking to break into .NET development or level up your coding skills, I cannot recommend Startup Hack enough.
Complete our 3-month coding bootcamp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out startuphack.com to code your future and start today.